Good morning. Good morning from Melbourne, Australia. Good evening to friends in North America, and hello to anyone watching on replay. My name is Nancy Hetker, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Melbourne, Australia. And I've got what I think is going to be a pretty fun card to make today. But first, I wanted to remind you that we are running Perfect Partners, which are coordinating dies for 6 stamp sets that are in catalogs without dies. And this is only available in the month of September. You can find everything that you need by going to my website and clicking on my Stampin' Up! Store. And there will be a banner with Perfect Partners, and clicking on that will show you all of them. But it's the Apple Harvest, Fresh Cut Flowers, This Birthday Piggy, Trimming the Tree, Waterfall Canyon, and Yeti to Party stamp sets that now have coordinating dies for the month of September only. Okay, so today, hello Roseanne and hello Gladys, thanks for joining me today. I'm going to be using Elephant Parade. I believe I've used this with you guys before, and it's coordinating elephant dies. I think this, like many of the critter stamp sets Stampin' Up! Does, I just think it's really, really cute, and it's my go-to set for baby cards at the moment. And I think that's what this is going to wind up being, although it can be just what a happy day. That could be for birthday, friends forever, I'll never forget your kindness. So it doesn't have to be a baby card. But like I said, I think that's where it's going to wind up. I'm going to set that aside for the moment and bring in my Stamparatus, because ultimately so this is how the image stamps, and it's with the elephant and his trunk facing off to the left. But for my design, I'd really like to have it facing the other way. So I've done this before using silicone mat or a piece of window sheet acetate. Anything that will let you stamp on it and get the ink off of it easily, that's plasticky, will work to do this. I'm using my silicone mat, and this is the first time I've done it with the Stamparatus, but it makes it super, super easy for a number of reasons. So I'm going to show you the technique. You just ink up like you normally would. And again, this is true whether you're using the Stamparatus or not. And then stamp it onto your silicone mat. Hello, Paula. How are you today? Excuse me. So now I have the image on my silicone mat, and I'm going to take a piece of basic white, and I'm going to put it in there, and I'm going to stamp again. And because it's with the Stamparatus, it's always positioned in the same place, so it's pressing right where that ink is. And I've got that image as well. And now I'm just going to take a clear block, and I'm just going to be really sure that I've got it. And I'm just going to press again and swirl it around a bit. I'm holding the paper, so I'm sure it's not moving. I'm just going to make sure that it's picked up ink from the other side. And there it is. So it's not quite as crisp, but I can see on the camera that it's awfully darn good. So, and I will show you why it's so cool that we have that image exactly on the other side in just a minute. I'm going to color this one. And I've got some Stampin' Blends. I've got my Smoky Slate combo, and I've got the light, the SU1000. And I'm going to use that inside the ears. I don't know why we've decided cute critters have pink inner ears, but that's okay. And I'm also going to do that on its little toenails. And now this is the light smoky slate. Well, I definitely feel like we have made the turn to spring here. You know, not just that the calendar says it's September, but the temperatures are being a little bit warmer. We're being a bit sunnier. Makes us all quite happy. Come here. Yes, I saw on Facebook, Paul, you got lots of rain, which is good. I'm glad. We have had plenty of rain here. And they're saying it's going to be, last week it was, we're going to have a wet spring, but there's also going to be areas that have a really high bushfire risk. Okay. Not where I live, but some parts of the state and other parts of Australia. I'm just adding a little bit of the dark smoky slate, places that I think might be a little shadowed. Just to give a little contour maybe. This is what I'm not so good at, but especially I think if it's turned up that way kind of towards the light, it's probably not so shadowed. So I'm wrong. But we'll just keep playing and layering here until we get something that we like. A little more pink on the nails. There we go. Okay, so with the coordinating dies, oh, I'm going to stamp a balloon here too. color that in with some soft succulent. Okay, so here are my dies. I'm going to cut out the balloon. I'm going to just take that over here and do that off to the side. I'm going to bring it on here actually so you can see. So I can see, maybe. So when you're lining up something that's got that long, skinny string or like a stem on a flower, it's got this little hole there, and if you pivot it, you can see it in there. And I'm gonna wish I had a little bit of tape to hold it in place. Here we go. Yeah, Roseanne, I wouldn't expect you to make a turn towards fall until October, mid to late October. So, okay, so that was that. And then here is the die for the elephant. But remember, the die for the elephant is for it stamped the original way. So because we did it on the Stamparatus and we have that original die, look at how much that soaked through and look at how exactly it lined up. How cool is that? How cool is that? Anywho, I'm going to line it up on this side. And cut it with the die. Dun, da, 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 moment of truth. There we go. Look at that. I think I am happy with that. So now we have our elephant colored with its balloon facing the way I want it to face. So now I'm going to bring in the other pieces. Now I already prepped my other pieces for this card. I was inspired by one that I saw on Facebook that used totally different paper, totally different colors, totally different figure. It was a Halloween card, but I really liked this layout, so I decided to give it a try here. And see why I wanted it to face that way? So I could have the balloon, because if it were this way, I can even show you. If it were this way, it would all kind of get lost in there. So I like it better like that. And we're going to do a sentiment here. And I'm using Sweet Little One And some more evening evergreen. There we go. And then I have to figure out how to cut this one out. I brought a few other dies. I may just cut it out. I brought this one. I'm gonna try double cutting it. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so I cut it, but off to one side there, and now I'm going to come back in and do it again. Just to make it a bit shorter. There we go. That's the right size. It's just a little too long. You see the difference? So, get those out of the way. Now, the only other question I had about this layout was, do I want to emboss that layer? I think it would be fine without, but I think it would be pretty cool with. So I think I'm gonna do, trying to decide between painted texture or time-worn type. This is where I really wish we had subtle or tasteful textile still. Can't decide, I can't decide, I can't decide. I think I'm gonna do painted texture. I think either would work. Oh good, Roseanne and I agree. So I'm just running that through the cut and emboss machine as well. There we go. There it is. Yeah, is it kind of like elephant skin? I don't know. Let's see about putting these on before we put it on the layer. Okay, so this is 3 different pieces of Lovely in Linen Designer Series paper. And I like the green because I think it's kind of gender neutral these days. And I don't know. I just like it. I like let's come up a bit. I like these greens. I'll be sad when they retire next year. Okay, so there are those layers. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and layer it up on the other bits. Onto the card. Wow, that was really off. There we go. Love my liquid glue to be able to nudge things into place. Hopefully, if it's crooked. I don't know if I mentioned when I went to Paperific a couple weeks ago, they had all kinds of, when I did make and takes, they had different adhesives, different places. Man, the other liquid glues people had were terrible compared to the Tombow one that we use. Okay, so that's going to go on there. I'm going to use some dimensionals. And on here, I didn't overlap those as much as I did my other lab, but that's fine. It'll work just fine. And on here, and I thought for embellishments, yes, thank you. I was focused. Yes, you can buy retiring products. I personally don't, but that's because I want to spend my money on new stuff. But a lot of people buy it because, like I said, they really like colors. They want to be sure they have stock when it goes away. Just taking a quick look here. So I was thinking I would use the gray classic matte dots to go with the gray elephant. But now I'm kind of rethinking that. Wondering if we want something a little bit shinier. Yeah, my thing with the retired is if I love it, I always find something that I love. So I just, I don't worry about it so much. I'm being very indecisive here. Gray. That's it, just smush it right back down where it was. The gray, or the evening evergreen, or soft succulent. I think the opal ones, but which ones? Darker or lighter green? Okay. There we go. So, evening evergreen, soft succulent, opal, what are they called? Yep, in color opal rounds. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. And I'm super pleased with flipping around, mirror imaging that image. So that's what I have for you today. I hope that as you are creating things, you will choose to upload them onto Nancy's Nifty Note Makers Facebook group. There is how to get there. I would love to see what you are making. And I will be back, same time, same place next week. Thanks for joining me. See you then. Bye-bye.